Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm going to be doing a flip through and sort of giving my initial thoughts on the Pathfinder Lost Omens World Guide. So this is, it's been out for a little over a month now actually, and I had shown this in my last pickup video, but today I want to actually get to sort of looking through the book, showing what's in there, and giving my thoughts based on that. So I'm very much a beginner when it comes to the Pathfinder world. I never really had any of the original Pathfinder products save for the core rulebook and then the Advanced Player's Guide, which I ended up trading into my local game store because I wasn't going to be using it. So I don't really know a lot about the Pathfinder world, and so I'm really interested to see sort of how this shapes up. We'll just take a look here. We got the front cover, again, just for some really nice artwork there, and then on the back cover, it says, "Claim Your Destiny." So this indispensable guidebook to the world of Pathfinder presents everything you need to know for a lifetime of adventure in the uncertain age of Lost Omens. The god of humanity is dead and prophecy is broken, leaving adventuring heroes like you to carve their own destinies out in an uncertain future. This gazetteer features 10 diverse regions packed with thrilling and deadly possibilities, and is accompanied by a giant two-sided poster map depicting the heart of the Pathfinder setting. So, again, we're just really looking forward to having a look inside here. So, we'll just open this up. We have our table of contents here, and it's the layout does strike me very similar to how things were done in the Starfinder RPG, and I don't think the original Pathfinder core book was laid out with kind of like this style. So it's interesting to sort of see, at least for me, how things like Starfinder may have influenced, or maybe it was an art style that was being done long before, I don't know, but I noticed this first in the Starfinder game, but I do sort of like the outlay. So we have the overview, and then the places detailed are Absalom and Starstone Isle, the Broken Lands, Eye of Dread, the Golden Road, High Seas, the Impossible Lands, the Mwangi Expanse, Old Sheliax, Saga Lands, Shining Kingdoms, and then we have our glossary and index. So, again, just some really nice looking. This actually looks like it's from the beginner box, because you got like the clockwork, the metallic, or the literally made out of metal robotic dragon. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then we have our overview, which has like the timeline stuff on the side here, and just sort of goes over some of the important information. So we have like the world of Galarian, which is where the Pathfinder campaign setting takes place, and some of the locations there. So we have like the ruins of Aslant, the oceans, again more timeline stuff, which is really cool. And then we have the solar system, which again is, I would say, very much a callback to Starfinder, because it actually, has like the jungle world of Castrovel. Just past is like Akaton, the desert world, fierce warriors and ancient secrets, the diaspora, which is like the asteroid belt sort of thing, Aposte, and Octurne, which is like basically the Cthulhu sort of location. And here we have the map here. So this will probably be represented on the double-sided map that I'll get out here at the end. So we have Absalom and Starstone Isle, and so I kind of like this. Again, I like this layout. It gives you sort of like the nations, like their crests, I guess, the peoples involved. So in this case, any basically like ancestry could be from there. Factions, you have the Firebrands, the Knights of Lastwall, and the Pathfinder Society. Religions, it gives you like their symbols, and then their resources, which again is really cool, followed by a map and some just really nice artwork on the top. So along with that, it gives you again just some basic information. And this is something that I'm actually kind of happy about. It looks like it gives you the framework that you need to create your own, campaigns or, things along those lines. but it doesn't go into so much detail that it feels like you have to know everything about the world in order to run it properly. And I had had issues with that in the past with someone who was very familiar with like novels that were put out for a particular campaign setting, and I hadn't read them. So anything that I decided would be the outcome based off of events that were referenced that took place in novels, if I got them wrong, he would be very quick to point out just how badly I got things wrong. And it was frustrating. It was actually one of the reasons that when 4th edition D&D came out, I actually really liked the Forgotten Realms setting, because it basically was a huge reset point. And now, like, there was enough of a gap between the previous edition and the current edition that you could just fill that century with whatever you wanted to. And I feel like this sort of gives you that opportunity as well, at least just basically from the amount that I've read of it so far. So like I said, it gives you some decent information, enough that you can flavor your own adventures, but it doesn't, you know, weigh you down with how much you have to adhere to some of the set details. We also have backgrounds included for each of these sections as well. So like Child of the Puddles, the Pearl Diver, freed Absalon slave. So it's just kind of cool that they Menagerie Dung Sweeper. Oops. I think that one's kind of funny. Pathfinder Hopeful, which I think was actually in the Doomsday Dawn playtest. I think that was one of the potential backgrounds you could have chosen. And then there is a like an archetype, or like, so instead of having just like the multi-class archetypes that they had in the core book, these give you ones that are specific to the flavor of a particular region. So this one is the Pathfinder Agent, for example, and it gives you all of like the dedication feats and stuff like that that you can take for that archetype. So I think that's, again, it's really, really cool, a nice touch. And then we have the Broken Lands. So again, we've got all the, so here we see an example of like different nations involved, because it's not just like the one. The factions, the list of peoples and languages, resources, and religions. And again, we get some, now this one actually also looks pretty cool and gives me a very much a Starfinder vibe if you look at like the Sentinel robots and the technological looking sword. So again, just some cool stuff there that I'm looking forward to you know, trying to come up with adventures around. So again, just something that I really like about it. We also have some notable figures here. So these are some of the important NPCs for the region as well. So again, it's just some really cool stuff. And then of course we have our backgrounds here as well. And then we have the Aldori Duelist is the archetype. Then we have the Eye of Dread, which again seems pretty cool. This is where we have like the Whispering Tyrant, which I believe was the Tyrant's Grasp. I think was one of the last adventure paths for first edition Pathfinder. So pretty cool to have him have that referenced here as well. Again, just some really nice artwork in here, and again, just lots of great information. Again, that can sort of get ideas going, but doesn't bog you down too much with overly emphasizing like the canon. And I find that as I do more and more homebrewed stuff again, that I actually kind of like that freedom. And here we have the Golden Road, which is sort of almost like your Egyptian style, as you can see, which again is another area that I'm going to be interested in doing stuff with, because I've always been interested in like Egyptian history and anything along those lines. Like in the Forgotten Realms, I really loved Mulhorund. So in this one, I'm going to be interested to use that location as well. Again, we got our backgrounds, and then we have the Living Monolith as the archetype from that one. And then we have the High Seas, which again just gives you things like the Aslanti Ruins and some other locations, including I guess some like underwater ruins as well. But what's also kind of cool is this gold dragon here Mengrakar, however you pronounce that. He's actually referenced in the Age of Ashes adventure path. So the location that the player character started in are actually, spoiler alert, sort of connected to him. So that's pretty cool stuff there as well. Then we have the Veiled Master, which is like the super Aboleth, I guess, or an offshoot of the Aboleth race. And then we have the Red Mantis Assassin as the archetype for that, as well as a whole bunch of, again, really cool backgrounds. The Impossible Lands. Now this one, I'm going to be honest, I kind of like this one as well, since it looks like there's a lot of like undead or like just weird, unique areas that you can explore, like the Mana Wastes, or so just some cool looking stuff here. And then our archetype is Student of Perfection, and I can do a video going over the archetypes in a little bit more detail. So this is just sort of a flip through. And the Magwani Expanse, which is actually featured in the second part of the Age of Ashes storyline. And then we have the Magic Warrior for their archetype, which is pretty cool. An old Chaliax or Chalix, however you want to pronounce that. I do like that artwork with like the goblins attacking the undead. You got like the living characters just sort of off to the side. I just think that's again just really cool looking. Again, we got our notable figures. We're locations of important note, and then we have the Hell Knight Armiger in here, however you want to pronounce that. So again, some cool stuff there, and we got the Saga Lands. I feel like that's Baba Yaga's hut. I don't know why. I haven't actually read this far into the book yet to see that, but that just sort of, for some reason, that just reminds me of that. Queen of Witches, Baba Yaga is mentioned right there, so yeah, that's got to be. Mammoth Lords. Just some cool stuff here. Runescarred. And then we have the Shining Kingdoms. Again, just some Five Kings Mountains, Druma. So, Five Kings Mountains. So this is the region that the Age of Ashes storyline actually kind of starts in, because the town, I believe, is right near the Five Kings Mountains. I hope I'm not confusing that with Plaguestone. Then we have the Lion Blade. And then I think we're just into, our glossary and appendix, the open gaming license, and then an advertisement for the Age of Ashes storyline. And then we have our map. And what's cool about the map is it's not one that's perforated so that you have to rip out. It looks like it's just being held in place by a single thing of like the sticky kind of glue, which it was. So we'll get rid of that. The downside is that it did leave a little bit of a stain. I don't know if it would always be like that, or if it's just because I've had this book and for a while and haven't taken the thing out. But that's, again, for me, it's a very minor thing to worry about. But we do have the Pathfinder map here as well, so I want to go ahead and open this up and just have a look at things here. So it looks like it's going to be kind of hard to get this oriented properly. But it looks like it's the same map on both sides, but just sort of in different styles. And I have to say, this style of art really reminds me of some of the early artwork in the original Pathfinder. It has, again, just like the regular Pathfinder logo there. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not. This could also be a before and after if there are major changes. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what that's like. Just from having looked at it very quickly on the other side. That's sort of what it looked like to me. And then let's just flip it over here. Maybe it's a little more zoomed out. Maybe? No, I don't think so. I think it just shows the changes. So I think what we had before was like the first edition era of like the Pathfinder campaign setting, and now we've got the how things look afterwards. Because, like, for example, on this side, we had the Arch of Aradin, which I was again expecting to see on this side, but it's actually looks like it's gone. So there may be a campaign where that was destroyed. So it's actually kind of neat because it does give you the differences between them. Now maybe the Arch is still there, it's just not showing on this map, but it is kind of cool. And this is like the more I guess I don't want to say zoomed out, but more like the world map in terms of, instead of depicting the settlements by drawing cities on the map itself, it just gives you like the dots and things like that. But again, it's just a really, really cool touch that they did. So then we have like the Age of Lost Omens, and it's cool to see like the two different styles. So again, part of me feels like the first side may be what the original map looked like. They just reproduced it and then redid the map for the updated world on the new for the new book. So again, just really, really cool stuff there. So really, really nice looking, awesome map. I really love the map, and I love the two different sides of it. So anyway, that was sort of just my initial look at the Lost Omens World Guide, and I'm really happy with the book so far. So I was wondering, one of my big concerns was how easily can I use this if I don't have any familiarity with the Pathfinder setting to begin with. And it seems like it's really going to be easy to flavor my campaigns, but it also feels like it's left open enough that you can fill in sort of like your own gaps or your own, blanks, or just however you want to design your adventures. It feels like you still have the ability to do that while just referencing other events and giving you the flavor that you need. So right now, I can say that I'm really, really happy with the way that the book is outlined, because it's sort of what I was hoping for. Now, if you wanted a more comprehensive, world guide with much more greater detail on all the different locations, then you might be a little bit disappointed. But if you're someone who likes to sort of fill in your own gaps, then, or not feel like you're completely bogged down by the previous edition and the stuff that happened then this is a great book, I think, for that purposes. And the adventure paths always detail like locations as well. Like each of their books will have information on like certain locations that they use, so you can get that more expanded lore from those products as well. So that's something to also keep in mind. Anyway, like I said, that was my look at the Lost Omens World Guide. So if you picked this book up yourself, let me know what you think about it, and let me know how you've used it in your games. If you created like homebrewed stuff, just let me know how useful the book, I guess, has been for you. And again, I do hope to have a full review. I'll probably review this book with the character guide as well, just in one review. So the next video in the Pathfinder series is going to be doing the flip through of the Lost Omens character guide. So that video should be up within a few days. So hopefully you come back for that one. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Take care.